Hey everybody, Matt Gretter here in San Bruno, California. It's great to be back here on YouTube today. Today I thought I'd do a little something different. I'm going to give you a gear rundown of not just one kit, but all of the drum kits I have. And this one particularly I'm really excited about because this kit has not seen the light of day for over a year and a half, and it's finally seeing the light of day once again. And it's still, me and my friend Drew, we did a little bit of work to it to try to improve it a little bit, tune it up and all that. It still needs a bit of work, but considering the conditions that it has been in for the past year and a half, just stacked up and just sitting idle, to come out of those bags and sounding the way it did, it was actually pretty miraculous. We were expecting a bit worse, but we're really happy for this one. And this kit I've had for 7 years. It was my road kit, but now since we've got it back out of the cases, it's going to be the R kit, which is the recording kit from now on. This kit, bringing back to life, is the PDP Concept Maple Series. This was the drum kit that made its debut, I think, in 2014, I think, or maybe 15, on my YouTube channel. And as soon as I saw these in Guitar Center, I knew I had to have them. Not only because they looked beautiful, but I knew that PDPs were going to sound well and on a musician's budget at the time that I had. And they're the absolute best bang for your buck, in my opinion. And to get into the finish super quick, it's a really cool finish. You can see it on the kick drum, is that it's a red sparkle to black fade, and it was the most luscious thing that I had ever seen on a drum kit, and that's what sold me first and foremost. And I must say that this finish, according to the research we have done with DW Drums and also on the PDP website, is that this finish is no longer available. They're putting out new finishes now. Which ones, I'm not exactly sure what they are, but all I know is that this is no longer available. So as far as finishes are concerned, this is a collector's item, and we're really happy to have this now. That even though there are people out there who have this exact finish, who have this kit, to know that we have a discontinued model, it heightens the sentimental value now because it's a collector's item. But what's even better than how this kit looks is how it sounds. They sound beefy. They have a lot of tone, a lot of sustain that you can either let ring out, or you can choke it. You can choke the sustain off, but it doesn't cut off any of the tone, which we really love here. And so, PDP drums, if you're on if you're on a budget and looking for A quality drums, these are the way to go. I highly recommend them. And now to get into the heads, what we use for drum heads. I used to use another drum company. I used to use Evans drum heads. They were really good, but after a while, my sonic palette started to change and was looking for a different type of sound. And we found exactly that in Remo coated Emperors. I know the logo is going to be upside down for you. Or Drew's mighty camera work is making it right side up for you, which is wonderful. And what I love about the Emperors is that they add a element of warmth to the drums, and also, in my opinion, they make it sound a little bit fuller. And coated Emperors we have for the top, and we have clear coated Ambassadors on these right now. But however, we have switched to coated Ambassadors on the other two kits that I have for the resonant heads, because it cuts down the sustain a little bit naturally, and it also adds a little bit more of a warmer tone, which we also like so much. And these drum shells, which are all American maple, and combined with the Remo heads, they're absolutely beautiful. I'll give you a test of how they sound, and they sound wonderful. Here's the 12-inch tom. And then the 16, and then the mighty 18. That thing sounds evil, doesn't it? Yeah, these things are great. The shells are wonderful. I did have a matching snare at one point, but I decided a long time ago to donate it to School of Rock. But I'm looking at some point, if it's possible, to get that snare back. We have the DW Performance snare on this one, and just for the heck of it, I'll give you I'll play this and see how it sounds for you. It sounds really fat and awesome. Absolutely beautiful. And PDP, DW drums, I've been in love with them ever since day one, and I can't foresee going to any other manufacturer for drums, and they're the absolute best. Now, it's not just drums that make the kit, it's the cymbals too. And I've always been a huge user of Sabian cymbals. This logo is a little faded, but I think you can see it there. And I've always been a huge fan of the HHX Explosion crashes. I love them for the fact that they're super bright and they cut through the mix, which is perfect for rock and roll music. And really bright and full, and they cut through the mix extremely well. These are both 20-inch crashes, but for some reason, this crash here is slightly brighter than this one, which is actually pretty cool because you can pull off, in this case, you can pull off the Van Halen type look, which is you have two crash cymbals that are exactly the same size, but you get different tone out of them. So it widens the palette without having to change the size completely. And this ride cymbal is slightly different, is the HHX Groove Ride. Drew and I, who's manning the camera right now, we were actually in a local music store just searching around looking for some cool stuff. I think we were looking for a replacement drum head, I think. And then we happened to see this, and all I had to do was just tap it once, and I was like, oh my god, I am so hooked on this. I need to have this cymbal. And that's exactly what we did. We bought it right there on the spot. And this thing is bright, but it also has great articulation, and it's also used as a wonderful crash cymbal and has a great bell too. And here's the bell. You do shoulder crashes, and then wash it. It's an absolutely wonderful ride cymbal, and I use it most of the time on all of the shows that I do, and it's great. And not last but not least, but of the big cymbal stuff, we have this HHX Evolution O Zone effects cymbal. And we used to have a China cymbal, and it was a little bit too harsh for the music that I was playing. And so I needed something that had that same kind of China effect, but it was a little bit softer and not quite as harsh, but still had that China / trashy element. And that's exactly what the O Zone brought to the table. So check this out. It has that trashy element, but at the same time, it's not overpowering in the mix. And I just find it a perfect blend. And then last but not least, we have these, I believe they're AA regular hats. Pick these up for about $100 on Reverb, and they sound absolutely amazing. Really, they are bright, but they have great articulation. And to round it all out, one thing that I forgot to demo for you is the sound of the kick drum, which is super beefy and super punchy. Feels like a cannon going off, and it's absolutely amazing. And kind of a joke, as you can see, we forgot to switch out the bass drum head, hence why we have the gaff tape down there. Those are going to have some new heads on it relatively soon, and they will match the rest of the Remo heads on here. And that's pretty much it for the actual drums and cymbals. But very quickly, a product that we use all the time, which aids a lot in cymbal setup and teardown, is these guys here called cymbals, and they're super easy to use. What they do is that they, instead of, you know how the standard cymbal mounting system works, is that you have these felts on here, and then you have this wing nut that you have to loosen and tighten in order to get off. Well, these things, they just slide right onto the stand, and gravity holds them in place. So when it comes time to tear down, all you have to do is this. Super cool, right? And super fast and easy. And what's cool is that you can adjust the amount of play in the cymbal by adjusting this bottom nut right here. Right now that's as tight as it can go, and we modified these upper sim pads, that's what they're called, and put a relatively fresh bottom one on here. So, but because of this being thinner up here, we still get a decent amount of play, which is what I really like. And also just because of this, if I happen to break a cymbal during a show and Drew's there with me, all he has to do is take this broken one off, and then let's just say this is a spare cymbal, and he just grabs this and just slides it on like that. It's all good to go. So let me put these guys back for you. And so cymbals are really, really good. I'm not too sure that they're being I'm not too sure if they're in production anymore, but if they are, there's a different design that's a little bit smaller than this. But I got big hands, and this big design, which was the first generation that they came out with, is perfect for me. And next we have Promark Drumsticks. I've been a Promark user ever since day one, and these things have never let me down. Even though I do have two sticks that are not quite matching right now, but I really use the Promark 5B series Shirakashi Oak, which I find I used to play hickory sticks, and they do have their place in rock and roll particularly, but oak is a denser wood, and it's much more durable and can withstand more hits, if you will, over time than the hickory sticks would. So if you're looking to save a little bit of money on sticks, the investment in oak sticks is going to be the way to go, because they will last longer than hickory will. And 5B is absolutely perfect. If I'm doing slightly softer shows, either lower volume or lighter type of music, I'll go to a 5A, but 5B is really my go-to. And I love those guys. And if you come over this way, the stick holder that I have here might be a little hard to see. Is a product by Danmar Percussion, which I got this in a red and yellow flame to try and match the kit as much as possible. And I'll just bam, super easy like that. Holds up to about, I think, 10 individual sticks, so 5 pairs, and it's very nice and stylish. DanmarPercussion.com if you want to go pick up a stick holder for yourself. And also, just so you know, it's not a paid advertisement or anything like that. So this is all stuff that has been paid out of pocket by me, no endorsements whatsoever. And it is everything here has been absolutely gorgeous. And to wrap out the drum kit, we have the mighty DW 9000 series hardware, which pretty much, it's super heavy and super durable, which means that if the nuclear war went off, these things would still be standing with the rest of the cockroaches, and everything else would be gone. These guys would still be standing. I can hit these cymbals as hard as I possibly can, and I'm a really hard hitter, and these things don't even budge. These things are, I got to get permits for these, but these are stronger than I am. So it's really good to have hardware that's going to stand the test of punishment, if you will, of the style of playing that I do. It's really hard and heavy, and this hardware is absolutely the best. But yeah, bringing the PDP kit out, it's an absolute treasure to see this kit again, and I'm really looking forward to getting it out on YouTube again, and also future recording sessions. And this wraps it up for the PDP video. And the next gear rundown, even though the cymbals may be the same, but we're going to break out the more recent big kit, which is the DW Performance series. And that is a real treat to listen to. And so, hope you enjoyed the gear rundown of the PDP Concept Maple Series drum kit, and looking forward to seeing you in the DW Performance series video. See you next time.